Welcome back here to the show. We mentioned before that men's basketball had an availability at Ubben a few days ago, and there's a new assistant that's really important because he's a defensive specialist. Cam Crocker's his name, talking to the media just about starting out with answering a question about kind of what he brings and how he got involved in this. And interesting, the second question here, his involvement previously with Brad Underwood. Really interesting. Let's listen in and we'll talk about it on the backside.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that this is a guy outside of the Underwood tree, so to speak, or the Huggins tree, or any of the trees that Brad would be forking from. You know what I mean? So it's very intriguing and I think this tells you a little bit about Brad Underwood. We've talked about this before. He's very adaptable from season to season. Like, okay, well, this didn't work, so let's try a different approach. We're gonna do this. We're gonna change this. He always wants to change. This, like, I'm getting somebody from outside the family here, basically, who has a different perspective. And I think that's really good. I think this is the kind of, you get some fresh ideas. Obviously, he's a young guy. He's very intelligent. You can just sit there. He's articulate, intelligent. He's just a guy you really think this guy knows the game. And he's going to be great at communicating that to the players as kind of the defensive coordinator now. So a lot of fun talking to him. And I think it's very exciting to see what he'll be able to do for Brad Underwood.
Yeah, I'm excited about seeing a little bit of a different voice from a defensive standpoint. That team last year was a very entertaining team, but on the defensive end of the court, there were some enigmas wrapped up in a mystery occasionally, and I'd like to see the defense get straightened out. And this gives a guy a great opportunity to come in and show his stuff. So I think it'll be a good fit.
Yeah, I too, and I agree with you. You bring a fresh voice in. I think after last year, that was one thing that was missing. I don't know who was calling the defensive shots, but let's try something a little different. Speaking of a little different, Brad Underwood, a couple of recruits now very quickly to open August for the 2026 class. Brad Sturdy, you've mentioned on IlliniGuys.com that this is a roster that may have 6, maybe even 7 spots open. So these were a couple of guys coming in. Ethan Brown last year from Missouri. And then this week, 6'8" forward Landon Davis from Iowa, both kind of under the radar guys. But you've evaluated this Davis kid in particular, and you like what you see on tape.
Yeah, he's one of those kids that's not maybe as as highly ranked as others that have come through, but he is 6'9". He's skilled. He's physical. He's bouncy too. I mean, I think that's weird to see. It's weird because you don't think of him as being bouncy until you see him go up and dunk on somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this guy's got some, but he's very skilled. He's got the ability. He's got some quickness. He got the first step, so he can, whether it's a pick and pop where it's attacking a closeout, but he's got the physicality to also play inside and rebound and defend the rim a little bit. So I really like this pickup because you're going to have a large class. Now, I want people to understand this doesn't mean they're not going after kids like an Alex Constanza, who is like a 5-star top whatever 15 kid. They're still going after those guys too. But if you're going to have a 6-man class, you can't bring in 6 of those guys. You've got to have guys who are willing to come in and compete for time, but also maybe a little bit more developmental pieces and guys that also have a different role, because you can't have 5 guys with the ball. It doesn't work well, and so you can't carry 15 guys on your roster who are going to play 30 minutes because somehow that doesn't add up. So these are the kind of guys who are they're competitors too. Both of the guys committed to this 26th class are competitive, and I think that's what Brad Underwood wants.
Throughout Illini history, we've talked the top 5 players by position, and there's always 2 or 3 guys who have a great junior and senior year or a great senior year. This offers you the opportunity to do that, and budgeting is unfortunately a part of the world now with this, and so you can't afford to pay $6 million to 15 guys and next thing you know, Shad Khan is declaring bankruptcy. I mean, come on, we got to you just can't do that. So
it would take more than that for Shad Khan to declare bankruptcy.
Sometimes the outrageous examples stick in people's brain, but you have to, there's more than just mixing the minutes that's going on here, and you really can see why a coach feels like they ought to be called the coach and general manager and salary cap expert. And I mean, it's a totally different world than even 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts really quickly on this as well. And Brad, something you mentioned on the board in our conversations during the week as well. People should realize that because the COVID years are over and because the NIL, the house is in play. And so the money stuff is going to change a little bit. This is a team that we knew, and you've talked about. Underwood's not going to be as heavy in the portal as what he has been the 2 or 3 years. It's going to be a little bit of a shift. This is a reflection of that, not so much like you said, he's not still going after the top kids in the country that are on their radar and vice versa. This is more about where that last couple of pieces that in the past couple of years you've gone to the portal, they're already in place now in form of incoming freshmen.
Yeah, with the portal the way it's been, it's basically Wild West for a while, with unlimited money, funds, $10 million salaries. Well, now they're not going to have that anymore. But you have to bank the NIL. There's going to be some, but they're going to get the settlement money. And the problem is now with the NIL go and some of the things that go on, if you go above that, you can be flagged, and nobody wants that, right? So guys are it's going to go back to the days of bags of cash being passed along to some of these kids. I think that's going to happen. But the other side of it is, if these kids are getting $300,000, I think that it's going to be a little bit different. They're going to be like $250,000, $300,000. It's not the worst thing in the world for a 19-year-old kid. And whether you're getting 350 or 400, there's probably not a huge difference for them. So it's going to be a more normal recruiting process than it is now. You know what I mean? So I think that the change with the settlement, the kids are going to get money, and I think they've deserved to get some money for a long time. Maybe not that $4 million or $5 million that some of these guys are getting, but they've all deserved to get some money. And so when they sell a jersey or whatever it is, they should be compensated for that. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I think there's been a little bit of blowback from some fans who believe that the kids are making, quote, too much money, unquote. And if it manages to level out a little bit, I think that will help the overall popularity of the game. And I'm not trying to debate whether, who gets the revenue. I'm just saying that, if you go out onto Twitter or X, or you read things on IlliniGuys, or you read, just general discussions, there is a frustration with, hey, here's a kid in college and he legitimately now has to take a pay cut to go to the NFL or the NBA on the initial contract.
Yep. Stay with us. Brett Bielema is up next talking Illini football on the Sports Spectacular.